what are the hallmarks of a good brief? At the end of the day, a good brief is better than a bad brief. How do you get a good brief, and what is a good brief versus a bad brief, so everyone understands?
I mean, the good brief and the bad brief, I think that's the whole lecture that I can put together and talk for an hour. I think the most important part is not in the brief, or it's not about the paper. It doesn't matter if it's a brief like 1-pager, 2-pager. It doesn't matter if the strategist has put together a springboard, because here in Germany and also in Europe, as far as I know from my research, is that strategists are using springboard, which is basically brief, put in a couple of slides. There's a lot of case studies, also some kind of ads from the competition, what competitors are doing at the same time, some inspirational materials that maybe can, spark some ideas in the creative person's mind. So there are a lot of ways how to brief the creative team and how to define what is like a good way how to brief them with the document. At the end of the day, we are human beings, and I think the best way how to brief anyone, and it doesn't matter if it's an advertising world, advertising environment, going out and give a task to a stranger on the street, it's about the communication. And if we go back like 10-15 years ago, and this is a kind of lost art of the strategy or lost art of the advertising industry, strategists took the creatives to the place where the consumers were actually using or buying the product. For example, if it was a nightclub, then they were spending a night in the club and just trying to understand, how the vibe, what's the vibe, or how the people are, exploring the night. If it was like a drink, for example, a whiskey, a Johnny Walker, they were going to the bar and they were observing how people are actually using the product. And that part is kind of totally lost from nowadays. And I think that's something that could really help creatives to, get some fresh ideas. But just because we don't have a time and we have all these short deadlines, we don't have a time to go to these real stores and kind of face this real experience. If you have a lot of data and you are, understanding the media usage, you are understanding what kind of social content these people are, consuming, or some other stuff that you can find through that through data, you can't understand their motivation. And our job is to understand what are their desires and motivations, or basically their point of view about the life. And you can't understand by looking at this data, like, what motivates them to buy one brand instead of the other.